Hi everybody, this is Beth and I'm going to be demonstrating how to do the make one increase that's used in this Cascadis tee for our mission lease project. And in our pattern for the project, the designer has just called it a make one. For future reference, this would be considered a make one right because of how you're lifting the stitch. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is how to do the make one. These are how we're going to increase the yoke as we're moving from the neckline down to the shoulders of our garment. So we're going to be doing increase. This is an increase stitch. So we're going to have one additional stitch each time we do it. So in our pattern, it's having us do knit two and then make one. So I'm going to go ahead and knit two. Now to do the make one stitch, we need to find that bar between our stitches. So this one right here. And we're going to take our left needle and we're going to pick up that bar from the back. So once again, we find our bar between our two stitches, and we're going to use the point of our left needle to go in under that bar, put it on our left needle from the back. So we're picking it up from the back. You can see we've created a new loop. In order to close that loop, we're going to knit this stitch into the front. So we're going to take our needle just like a normal knit stitch, pull that through, and slide it off. And you can see now we've increased one stitch there between stitches. So we're going to do knit two again, and then another make one. So find your bar between the stitches, this stitch right here, this bar right here, insert your needle from back to pick up that loop, and then close the loop by knitting into the front of it. Now, if when you finish this, you see a big gaping hole rather than a twist here, it means that you knit into the wrong direction in your stitch. You knit into the back of it instead, or you picked up the bar from the front to the back. So when done correctly, this is an invisible, nearly invisible increase. You can see that was our knit two and that was our make one. If you see a really big hole right here, go ahead and pull that stitch out and try it again, making sure that you're lifting the bar from the back and knitting into the front. So once again, we're going to knit two, and then do our make one. So we're going to go ahead, lift that bar using the left hand needle from back to front, and then we're just going to knit it like a normal stitch. So we're going to put our needle in from the front to the back and go ahead and pull through, having knit that stitch, slide that loop off. Then we're going to knit two. And we're using much chunkier yarn and needles for the purpose of this demonstration, but it will look just as good in your project needles. We're going to knit two, and one final demonstration. Again, we're going to lift that bar from the back to the front, creating a new loop on our needle. Then we're going to go ahead. I find it can be a little bit tricky to get your needle in, so I kind of go ahead and wiggle it in there first, and then kind of hold it open with my finger as I go to knit that stitch. All right, and so we're going to just continue this around the round. Each time, depending on your pattern, your size, you may be doing a different number of knit stitches at the beginning, but after that you're increasing by doing this make one stitch. And once again, although this designer has just called it a make one in this pattern, anytime you're lifting from the back like that, it is a make one right. So in a future pattern, if you see a make one right, this is what you're doing, lifting from the back or the rear and knitting into the front to close that stitch. Now what we had talked about is if you do this and you see a big gaping hole, something has gone wrong. So you can see if I lift this from the back and then also knit into the back, instead of my nice invisible increase, I have a really big hole right there. So if that happens to you, you've just done one of the directions backwards, no big deal. Just go ahead and slide it off and try again. So we're going to lift from the back and then knit into the front. And that's what creates that nice little closed increase there. And you can see, especially after you knit past it, that those increases are nearly invisible in our fabric. So that's how we do the make one increase for mission lengths. Thanks.